3.5, and you sell it for 4.4. So, and it's a little more expensive, but I think you'll probably find that's. And I did the hydrogen, and I did the iodine with the Avenger, and you get 73 and with an Avenger. Profit. A 96. Oh no, that was with the chlorine. You'll make 96 with chlorine, and you buy it for 144, and you sell it for 1. And then the iodine. But even still, if you do that with even with an Avenger, full load of chlorine costs you 11.52. But if you do it with iodine, it costs you 283. And you sell it for 357, and you make 93. So for $23, 23 UEC more, you're risking a hell of a. Which one disconnected?
The saying goes, save the pennies, lose the dollar.
Yeah. Slide disconnect?
No, I'm here.
Oh.
I think.
Yeah, you're here. I heard somebody log out.
Oh, my chatbot joined.
Oh, okay. Hang on, let me go check my daughter's blood sugar.
Jean-Luc Picard. You like Dr. Evil there? I don't know. He does have the monocle. Some guy in the standard RSI suit's got the monocle, but there's this weird thing that when you put on the top hat, it like removes all the hair on top of your head except for what's around your ears. So it's got this weird Jean-Luc Picard haircut.
Oh, that's hilarious. I personally could never get used to the monocle. I don't know. I find that too proud.
Yeah, the only time it kind of looks good is when you're in the full, like you got some actual nice shirt and shoes and pants and stuff, and you're wearing the top hat and the monocle all together.
And they borked that as well. If you ever looked at Kasaba Outlet, those nice.
Yeah, the garbage they've got at Kasaba now is ridiculous.
I'm thinking I could have went to Grim Hex for those out.
Right. Some of these ships that have turrets are going to be so much more fun when I can put AI or an NPC in them. That's going to be so nice.
Yes, I really can't wait for that because I really don't like flying. I'd rather have someone else pilot this ship.
Have you done the what is it, the pirate swarm yet, all the way to the end?
I hardly ever go to Arena Commander because I really just don't do combat.
Right. So yeah, the one of the ships that you fight against in like the last wave, the pirate has a name called Headcase, and he's flying a constellation Andromeda. and he's got a full crew in there. And let me tell you something, between the missiles and all the turrets and all the guns on that Constellation Andromeda, that thing is a serious, serious threat. I was hiding behind rocks because I was scared to death of that ship.
One.
So if the colony is in the
Pirates
right crew, if it's in the hands of the right crew, it could be quite devastating.
Oh yeah, that Andromeda I think is going to be a lot scarier than some people think.
Well, one evening I took the 600i out, and I was trying to, park it in the orbit as I usually do to enjoy the sunrise. And every time I noticed they implemented something where pirates always seem to spot whenever I come to a stop. And so this time I didn't want to lose my 600i. I was like, I had enough. So I tried to aim the 600i at the Cutlass, and I was blown away. I couldn't believe how fast it took out the Cutlass.
Oh yeah. No, that thing has big guns on it. Any ship that's got some decent sized guns, if you land a couple blows, most of these ships will go up pretty quick.
Wow. All I know is I was just impressed at how easy it took the Cutlass.
Which is funny because we just showed how OP the shields are against the EMP.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the 600 I got for weapons?
I think it's only got 3 of them, plus 2 turrets, but I'm not sure what size the 3 are.
All I know, they're big guns. They look very big.
I'm taking a look now. I got a sight up, and it's the Explorer.
Your ship has been delivered to the following landing pad.
Weapons are 3 size 5s.
Oh my.
Plus your 2 size 2 turrets.
Oh wow. Size 5. Wow.
Well, Connie's got 4.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like,
But the problem is the rate of fire and that thing is so slow. It's just hard and stuff.
right.
If it's small. But that's when if you have 2 gunners with those Gatling gun turrets, it's just
Oh yes.
that's why if you had a full crew of people and a retaliator with 5 turrets, you'd just be shredding stuff.
Well, I just really, I would just like to go to like a beautiful planet and orbit and not have to deal with any aggressors. That's really would be nice.
Go way past Delmar and into some of those bigger asteroid clumps that are way, way, way past Delmar. Nothing's ever up.
But I like Daymore because it's daylight usually and bright and sunny and everything is
Dead. It's full of dirt, rocks.
well Daymore after all. Until something better comes, but in the meantime I like Daymore. Daymore has warm color.
Let's see. What shall I say? Hornet. Prospector. Connie. Gen 600. I've never even been in one yet.
What's that? 600?
The 600i.
Oh, you should spawn in and go check it out.
Does not interest me one bit.
So you've never been in the 600 odd?
No, not even slightly interested.
It's one of the few decent ships in the game.
You're right, yeah.
It actually has a nice interior. It's soft curves and warm colors, and it's just a wonderful environment.
So almost as nice as the Reclaimer interior?
Well, the reclaimer is an interesting situation. I am drawn to it because it's not necessarily the interior is nice, but
It would be if the crew inside it wasn't such a bunch of pigs.
yes, and the shape of it. I really do like the shape of the exterior.
A flying tombstone.
It looks like a with its particular color on the outside and just the way it's shaped. It looks like an ancient artifact that's flying through space, like an interstellar arc or something. It looks like some ancient machinery. It doesn't look like anything that's modern or futuristic. And for that, I kind of am drawn to it because of its ancient appeal. But now, of course, it's very different from the space shuttle. You know, to me, the space shuttle always looked cheaply looking, even when it wasn't. So Delta's excluded.
Unless it's a 600i, then it's the most beautiful thing in the
Well, I'm able to. The interior is able to compensate for the exterior.
darn, just shut that guy right in two. Okay, Asperia Blade. Let's check this stupid thing out.
I want to do a run to Benson, I think.
Oh, wait. This is a Van Doel ship.
Yeah.
I thought she
Yeah,
kind
the
of
way
cool.
the way that rear gear retracts up into is pretty sweet, I have to admit.
I don't know about the rib cage looking stuff on her. Okay, I've seen it.
I might try to go to Benson as well.
After cockpit. This is one of these ships you have to lay down in.
Yep.
Quantum drive activated. Alert, emergency stop. Quantum
No,
drive
that's why I said that
activated.
I'll just rear landing gear go. Okay. That's pretty cool looking.
Quantum drive deactivated.
Looks like it should be a Romulan vessel.
Quantum drive activated.
With the red interior, the red lights would give you a headache after.
I really don't know what the community is complaining about the 600 cockpit being too bright. I'm right now traveling with it, and it looks perfectly fine to me. I can see outside clearly.
Well, I think they're talking about when you're on like the night side of the
Quantum
planet,
drive
especially.
deactivated.
But they completely, to dim the bridge is one thing, but they completely missed the point. I mean, we're 1,000 years in the future. We're supposed to use navigational aids and special, maybe special visors or something.
Is this you out here in the reclaimer?
Nah, I was taking off in the pirate cat, but it got took too long and it distorted, so I gotta pull it back out.
Okay. Let's shoot an azimuth 2.
Yeah, they put me on C00.
Crusader.
I was telling them that had they, in fact, someone also suggested when I made this post in the Spectrum that if the pilot seat was moved to the front, they would be able to see clearly as they don't have any of the white, ruining the exposure. And I think that would be better to actually have the pilot sit close as they could to the windshield so they wouldn't see as much white. But the white of the cockpit is just gorgeous.
So that's actually a fairly good idea. I think that ship in particular, those two front seats should be pilot and co-pilot, and then the captain should be sitting in the middle. And then if you want to have turrets, there's tons of room on the back end of that bridge that you can put the remote turret seats in back there.
Yes, and I don't know why they wouldn't incorporate both turrets and pilot in those seats. To me that would be, or the turret could be where the captain is as well. I just think this is laziness on SIG's. And I flew the 600i and the PTU with the dim bridge. It really doesn't make much difference at all.
Oh, they've already got it in the PTU?
Yes, they dimmed the bridge, so when you look at it, it's no longer that airy, heavenly white color. It looks sort of cartoonish. Everything goes black that's not facing the sun.
Alright, well, I'm logging into the game real quick. I gotta go see that.
Yes, it's try to land on Daymar on the bright side. You're going to be very disappointed. It doesn't look realistic at all.
Huh. Okay.
But they've done that because so many people complain it was too bright, and that was not really the problem, really, actually.
It's probably the same thing like with the Aquila when they changed the window shape, and with the white interior of the Aquila, it just gets so much reflection back into the ship that it makes it hard to see when you're in a really dark environment. But the Andromeda doesn't have that issue because it's got the flat angled windows and it's got the white, black, and orange interior. What they just need to do is be able to, so you can dim the lights in the flight area.
Oh yeah. Give people control over that. I think you'll make a lot.
I mean, if you just made it so you could dim once the pilot sits in the seat, the area in the cockpit dims down.
Right.
Good.
Just put a little slider control on one of the MFDs or something. How hard would that?
And another problem too is it seems like they fall short when it comes to ships with windows or cargo bay areas with doors that open to the outside. It would, most flight simulators, they have a daytime and nighttime texture so that as the sun sets, it switches to nighttime textures. They could do the same thing with these ships where if the ship ends up in a bright area, it switches to daytime textures while it switches to nighttime textures in areas that are dark. And so let's say they open the cargo bay doors of it, like the Caterpillar, for instance. All of a sudden, the baked textures would be baked textures that would appear as if sunlight was coming in, or sky atmospheric lighting would come into the cargo bay of the Caterpillar. And so then for a brief moment, they'll see a constant change of textures, But then that's just a brief moment. But the most of the time while they're on the planet, it looks realistic. The lighting looks very photorealistic.
Right.
I'm just surprised they haven't implemented multiple textures for different lighting, moods.
Oh, it
I
could
know.
be that they're trying to build the basic building blocks. I think maybe they're just trying to get basic lighting in there, and then maybe all that stuff will come along a little bit later. Who knows?
Mhm. I know the Ollie mentioned something about dynamic global illumination is their long-term goal. That is such an exciting thing. What that means is that RTX technology that was displayed by, was it by NVIDIA, I think, and oh no, it was a Unreal Engine demo, I think. But anyway, that is what it is they're talking about. I think it'd be nice if we had that real-time ray tracing.
Quantum drive activated.
Slowly with me. That's BTU's phone. Let's see what this looks like.
So in space is not too bad, but as you go to Daymar and you're going under sunlight where it casts a shadow, you're gonna see how the bridge becomes very dark. Um, any area that's
Quantum
not
drive
directly lit by the
deactivated.
sun.
All right. What do we got in here? Yeah, I did some regression testing with the PTU. I think it was yesterday.
Oh,
Some of it was pretty good. I'm having. I don't know if you guys are having a problem with it, but in the live environment, the star field gets blurry.
oh really?
Yeah, everything else if I'm on Port All-Star is crystal clear and sharp and everything. The ships are all sharp textures, but like the planet Crusader and all the stars are blurred out like I'm in like I have a weird depth of field thing going on.
Oh
I'm
wow.
pretty
As soon
close
as I
to
get in the
Crusader
ship,
right now.
it's all fixed. As soon as I'm in the ship.
I'm flying towards Crusader right now as we speak. At maximum throttle and afterburner. Sacrificing a Superior blade to the gravitational pulse of Crusader.
I love how all kinds of people have different favorite ships. There's somebody here that says that Terrapin is Bay, which awesome. I'm glad you love the Terrapin that much, but to me, I have no interest in this ship at all.
No, because people think it's going to be this full long-range exploration ship, and it's not meant for that. Because if it's supposed to be supported by basically a fleet, it's supposed to be the eyes of the fleet. Because the fuel tanks are small, everything's small on it. Dude, shields are small, except the shield is the only thing that's on it. But it doesn't have two computer systems. The 1500i. So
It's just a very, I don't know, the as far as the ship itself, without its special functions, there really is nothing to it.
it's not a very. It looks like a turtle.
Yes, that isn't very appealing either. Deltas and whatever.
All right, getting up in this 600 now.
Damn, it takes a while to get to Crusader, doesn't it?
I'm gonna miss this bridge. Such a beautiful.
They're not going to take it out.
No, it's not gonna look realistic anymore.
Oh, it's so weird.
It's like playing this getting on this bridge and putting sunglasses on. That's what it. Except
This needs more. It's fighting. Like every step I take, it changes like brightness in here.
yes, they really messed with it, and it's terrible. It's sometimes I think they just should leave things alone, and in this case, they should have left.
Oh, and it's completely different than pilot seat. I don't know what it's supposed. It keeps changing so much. I don't know what it's supposed to be. All right, I think this might be the way it's supposed to be. Now, let's see. Let's take
All
off.
they could have done is just put on sunglasses. The player's sunglasses or night vision. You know, the Air Force pilots have special helmets.
Oh, they put a big map in here too. The little radar map so that you can select destinations and stuff from the pilots.
Yes, there's been certain changes. The Damar will be the one that where you'll see the big difference. Once the sunlight hits that bridge, you'll see the difference.
I mean, it takes a while. I'm still flying.
Where are you trying to go to?
I'm trying to go to Crusader.
You know you're never going to get there, right?
Yeah, I'm never going to get there.
You can't. You're talking about the gas giant?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I want to see if it's going to crush. I want to see if the gravity's going to crush.
I think I haven't messed with it in a while. Wait, there's this one. Okay.
To get
The last time I saw anybody do that, as you start getting within a certain range of Crusader, your screen starts to shake a little bit, and then boom, your ship is gone. And you're back in Port Oslo.
We're gonna find out. Like I said, I'm sacrificed the Imperial blade to the experiment.
Oh, okay. Well, it's an alien ship. I'm fine.
Yeah, I. Hopefully, it'll look cool when it implodes. I do like the lines of the ship, though. It is a nice looking ship. Looks like it'd be extremely heavy, though.
See, now if I was going to complain about anything, I'd complain about that little arm that's holding the turrets on. That's kind of pathetic.
Yes, that is that's interesting that they chose that design. I love the landing gear. I know a lot of people don't like the landing gear, but I like how it sits up high on stilted landing gears. It looks cute.
Yeah, I personally don't have a problem landing here. God dang, that accelerated quick. That ought to make a lot of people happy.
Yes, it's very cool.
I mean, the top speed's not amazing at 975, but it got there in like 4 seconds, 3 seconds.
Well, it's like the Cutlass has a higher top speed, but the Freelancer will destroy it out of the box. Like, it goes from 0 to its top speed fast.
Right.
And the Drake just seems to be keep climbing and climbing and but they need to crank up the top speed of the Retaliator. That ship is slow. It should at least be able to do 900.
Oh, it doesn't get to 900. I don't know. It spent a whole lot of time.
It's like 800 and some change.
That's like Caterpillar speed. That's pretty sick.
That's about the only thing it'll pass is a Caterpillar. I think a Caterpillar is 650, isn't it?
No. It's 8.
It's 892.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it takes like a month for it to get up to that speed.
The Reclaimer takes a long time to get up to.
Yeah, but once you get that thing going, it goes over 1,000.
9, they worked the speed on that. It's only 970.
Oh, because it used to be over a K. It was like 1,100. And I was like, whoa.
I know, that was pretty fast.
No, I'm still flying towards it. Still going. Oh. No. I'll tell you what, this thing leaves an orange contrail about a light year behind it. You can follow this thing through the galaxy. It has a long tail. Orange chem-like juice.
Flare countermeasure active. Origin jump parts at your service. Core system operational.
What is wrong with the power on this ship?
Oh yes, I forgot to tell you. Looks like somehow they reduced the reactor output or something because the ship gives warning that it's running out of power.
Yeah. And Cat Nuts is attacking somebody on the ground, I
Where?
think. I don't know. I was coming into the atmosphere at Daymar going to Shubin, and I saw Cat Nuts in a 600i.
Quantum drive activated.
In the PTU?
Yeah.
Why am I not surprised?
He's not hitting me. I don't know who he's hitting.
Quantum
It's
drive
just odd that I find that there was one point where I hired someone to escort me from doing those yellow drug runs. I guess he tried to intercept or he tried to protect me against catnuts with the caterpillar. Uh, Catnuts got really mad and really angry and then came back with a Vandu Vandu glaive and within seconds destroyed him. So my escort was out there watching the skies and then he tells me, "Oh, Solara, we have contact." I'm like, "Really?" So I said, can you keep them at bay? And he's like, "I think you better come out here." So I went out there. Before I had a chance to even go out of the airlock, he was destroyed. And then Catnuts tried to target his ship toward me and come toward me, but he didn't know who I was until I guess he saw the chat with me yelling in the chat, for help or whatever. And then I think he realized it was me. But I noticed that once he knew it was me, he just stared at me with his Vandu glaive, with his targeting reticle on me, but he never shot me. And he spared my life, which was very interesting.
Probably because you got him so much publicity from his video.
No, he
Over
has
Levski.
a ton of publicity from I can never remember this dude's name. That MTV guy. Dan Giesling. He was on like one of the Real World things or something, but he became a big fan of Star Citizen. He's got his channel. He's got that WHB. And for whatever reason, when he puts up his videos, he's got a bunch of followers and stuff, but Catnuts constantly bombards his videos every single time. So that's how come I knew him when we were at Levski and he was harassing us county to county. I was like, well, there's that guy.
Oh yes, and also Citaro too. He seems to know him.
Yeah.
I guess everybody he's getting a name for himself.
So what's the fix for the power on this thing? Is it getting the power triangle and move it around or something? Because it talks about engines. Let me see if I can pull more power out of the engines.
Someone said you could overclock the engines and everything now, but I've yet to try that feature.
Now it says weapons power.
Quantum drive deactivated.
I wonder if I should just turn off weapons.
Dude, this is taking forever.
Robot says hello. What in the world?
Alright, I might lose interest before I hit Crusader.
Dude, I'm trying to tell you. I don't know what you're thinking. So I don't understand it. The 600i looks fine.
Are you on the sunny side of the planet?
Yeah.
And is the sun kind of directly over you?
Let me see where it is.
They might have changed it again.
Oh, maybe they fixed it back again. All I know is if you went like a high noon area on the planet where the sun is over you and the shadows are basically it's like afternoon sunlight at its brightest, the areas that are in shadow are really dark, almost starkly contrast.
Alright, well, let me see. We'll pull her all stop here and get up and walk around.
I think I got a lot of flack from the community because I was telling the devs, that people who complain about the brightness, a lot of them are probably gamers, but the thing is, well, they are gamers, but the people who understand global illumination or actually studied it in depth know that white on white has that kind of properties. It's very blinding white, especially if it's lit in an with a window as big as the 600i in afternoon daylight.
Warning, collision later. Warning, collision
It's
4.
it's actually still kind of bright in here to me. I don't know. Maybe I need to come in the library first and take a look at what the regular 600i looks like.
I'll post the compare. I made a comparison of the photos. I went to the same area on the planet in both the live and PT, and I took screenshots. I'll send you that link to that spectrum. That way you don't have to. I don't mean to give you the runaround.
Oh no, you're fine.
Let's post them in Discord.
Who is
I'll put the
Roboto
link.
in Discord?
Oh, hello, Valak. Welcome.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that. That's pretty good.
Okay, I'm done. Oh, I can't suicide. No.
Yeah.
You can't kill yourself in a spirited glade?
I'm just glad they got the doors working in time for 3.2 between the cockpit and the back area by the scanner station.
I posted the link, dear.
Oh, good. Let me tab over.
Well, my ship just disappeared.
All right, let's see.
Alright, I got bored with that. Where'd you go, Solara?
Oh, looks like we have a new member that joined Discord, and they're interested in the game. They must have clicked my referral link in the live stream
Collision
chat.
4.
Oh, cool. Welcome.
Nice.
They haven't joined the voice yet, but I encourage them to join the voice, so they said they will.
Warning. You are blocking an active
Cool.
fire.
That'll work.
Where'd you go, Solara?
No.
Oh, I'm trying that cargo run from Benson Mike to Grim Hex. So I'm at Grim Hex right now, trying to get
We're
landing.
sorry. You exceeded the allotted time for depart. We will have to return your ship to storage. We're sorry. Your vessel exceeds the size limitations for
Okay, I do see.
Isn't there a return run from Hex?
For cargo?
Yeah. I didn't see anything from Alisson, but I remember reading somewhere that they were talking about you could do a backhaul. But I think that was to I think it was architectural, so not architectural supplies, agricultural supplies. Freelancer.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to use that new app that was in shoot, what was that?
The trading app?
Yeah. But I don't like how it reads. I like the spreadsheets a little bit. It's more clear. But you're supposed to be able to go. Where is it? Single trade.
Oh, there's a tree.
Yeah. What are you flying? You're flying your.
I'm flying the 600
Can you land in Hex?
I just found out that I can't.
Start location.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
you can't land a Connie there, so how could you land a 600?
Why can't you land a Connie at Grimmax?
Isn't it too big?
No, put a Connie down there. I've landed. Let me tell you, it's tight on that big pad. It's tight for the 600i on the sides. But you can put it there. I just don't think you can spawn it back. I don't think they'll spawn one on pad 1. All right, so according to this trade app, there's nothing that comes back. Everything is zero profit. It's the same
Yeah.
at Hex as it is at Alazar. But I don't know how accurate that is. All right. I'm gonna take the 600 over to the right side and see what the difference is.
The 600 doesn't have very much cargo space.
No, not really. It's got 40 something, I think.
I know it's not the best cargo ship, but at least it has a powder.
You're right.
We have to make compromises in life.
Ooh. Cat Nuts and Pixel Pusher going at it right above me.
Oh, that's funny.
It's an Andromeda versus a Hurricane.
Well, the Hurricane's got the firepower, but it's also a glass cannon.
Yeah, the Hurricane's all red, but he's starting to work on Caterpillar a little bit.
Quantum drive activated.
Oh, that's it. Oh, not the, what was I saying? Caterpillar? No, the Constellation.
Emergency stop.
Yeah, the power on this thing is retarded right now.
Maybe you should take a warlock to Levski. Here there's a luxury ship hauling cargo.
And why would I want to be bothered with that? That doesn't even have a bathroom. It's just
No, I'll tell you about me going to go EMP a 600i warlock.
oh, well, you can EMP some other 600i. Good lord.
Quantum drive activated. Alert. Emergency stop. Contact. Contact.
All ships in range. I am under attack. Please. Please help me.
I notice, Viking, you usually don't say much in the public chat, and all of a sudden you respond right away to that. Very as if to point out an inconvenience. Hmm.
Quantum drive activated. Quantum drive deactivated.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, hello there. Well,
Quantum drive activated. Quantum drive deactivated.
Ooh, getting some chop coming into the atmosphere. And a contact received.
That is one thing I don't like to hear on the computer of the ship is when there's a warning of a contact.
Buccaneer Pirate. 24 clicks behind me. Statement.
The worst is when you hear contact and there's a Vanguard warden on the screen.
Ending gear deployed. Shields at full strength.
It's only that your buddy.
What did you say?
It's only if it's your buddy. What's her face? Your
Yeah.
stalker in the Vanguard.
Warning, collision stern. Warning, collision port.
Well, you know, you're famous. You have to deal with the paparazzi.
Well, I didn't mean to be famous in that sort of way.
I don't know. What are we doing?
Trying to find a screenshot. That's it. This one. No.
TYU. Okay, nothing close to me. Coming in a little too hot to Benson here. Whoa, 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 whoa. No! Oh, whew. That was almost bad.
Oh, I can see why they complain why the cockpit's bright. Like if you're landing on the dark side of Levski, it almost seems like it's glowing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Look, I just in Discord, I threw in a dark side of Daymar with the muted light.
Is it better or worse?
It's better as far as night flying goes. It seems to me that until they have real-time ray tracing, it's going to be very difficult to, unless they can change the exposure based on the darkness. So if it gets really dark, they'll switch to this mode.
They need to
And-
put polarized windows in the ship.
Yes, that's a good idea. Also,
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Hello.
How's it going?
Howdy.
Good, how are you?
oh hello there.
How's it going?
Just fine. So glad to have you with us.
Thank you.
Oh, how did you learn about Star Citizen?
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to remember the year that this game released. A friend of mine had been following this since Alpha was announced, like way before the game ever came out, and so I've been kind of in and out of the loops the last couple of years.
Oh, I see. And so have you ever had a chance to play the game and some of the earlier patches?
Oh no, I haven't had a chance at all. I think my laptop might barely be able to run it in terms of like minimum requirements.
I see. Yes, right now it does require quite a bit of RAM to operate. I would say really a system should have at least 32 gigabytes of RAM in order to run this game. But so what aspect of this game interested you?
To be honest, all of it. I'm kind of a like a big picture person, so I like seeing how just I've been watching a lot of YouTube stream, well, like Twitch streams and stuff, any kind of way to get the fix, right? And just kind of watching how each section of the game kind of interacts with itself. You have like criminals and stuff, and just like a little bit of real life backstory. I'm an anthropology major, so I enjoy studying cultures, and so this game just completely sparked my interest since my friend had told me about it. So I've just been kind of keeping up with it, and I like watching real life interactions kind of happening in the the virtual setting. So it's fun.
We definitely have a lot of simulations, a lot of phenomena, that's for sure. Real life and fantasy. But the thing about it is, what's special about this game is it does have quite a deep lore aspect to it, and the anthropology aspect of it, where they have the different races and their languages. And I know they did a few videos just on the alien languages as well. That you might find quite fascinating.
Oh yeah. I've been I've been scouring like all of it recently. I didn't realize how in depth it really was. So
Yeah, just be aware it's in a really early alpha state. I mean, they're just now finishing a lot of the major core building blocks.
Duty
And they're gonna have
inactivity.
to build the
You've been
rest of
forced to
it.
assign your landing zone to another customer.
oh yeah, no problem. I played Arc and Alpha like pre-alpha, so yeah, no, not an issue. I've got lots of patience.
That's a plus.
Some days you'll need it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I bet, dude. I bet like with Arc it was like you get like a new T-Rex, right? It was awesome. And you walk into a tree, like just barely touch it, and you get stuck on it, and it was bad for a bit. But it's cool, things change, and it was funny. Someone said, I don't remember where I heard the quote. There was something like, a game that takes a long time in development will always have potential to be a good game, and a game that was made quickly will be forever a bad game.
Please vacate the area. Thank you for your cooperation.
Oh yeah,
So, yeah, for sure.
because it lacks depth.
Yeah, no, I'm totally cool. I'm in it for the long haul, so I'm cool with that.
Well, definitely, if you're thinking about coming in, go small on the investment. I'm sure if you've done all your research, you've probably heard it a million times. Don't jump in with one of those giant packages or something. Get something small. Get in the verse and interact with it and see how you like it at that point.
Okay, cool.
Get a nice starter ship. There's a couple of them that are out there. If you ask any of us, we'll give you recommendations. Gladly help you out. Let you fly one to see which one before you even buy it.
That's awesome. So, okay, so then let's say I want to download this just to see how it runs tonight. Do I have to purchase it, or can I just download the client and do that test drive that you talked about?
Well, first off, before you do, what are your system specs so that we know what we're working with?
Yeah, okay. So it's after what you said about the 32 gigs. I think I'm around 8.
I run 16 and I have no issues.
Yeah, 16 is good.
No, like 6. Sorry, single digit.
I need to let you know because I used to run this with a laptop before, and the laptop had 8 gigabytes of RAM. And now I tried to run it with the latest patch, and it gave me a warning saying insufficient memory. I need at least 11 gigabytes, and it won't load the game. So between patch 2.6 and patch 3.2 or 3.0, something must have happened. So the memory consumption has went up much higher.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay then.
But if I'm sure, I don't know how laptops can do as far as upgrading with memory modules, But I'm sure you might be able to upgrade the memory and then you should be fine. But the laptop is a second generation i7 processor. I think it's a 2600, and it does pretty fine. I mean, it still can play the game if it's not laggy and the frame rates are high. And the frame rates are really affected heavily by the server side. So recently in this patch, where a lot of us are getting average between 20 frames to 30, sometimes as much as 60, or even some say 100, depending on what resolution you run it at. For us, some of us, we run it at 4K, so we get between 25 to 30 frames a second.
Okay.
But yeah. So in your situation though, I think you just need to maybe add a little more RAM, and then you would be able to play.
Okay. That's so weird. So, just a question, just like from my understanding. So, with the official website is robertspaceindustries.com, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure. So, because it says out here on PC requirements, is it possible that they haven't updated those requirements then in some time?
Yeah, it's possible that what they're saying is curriculum is not it hasn't been updated. Because from my own personal experience, I can't even run the game currently on, and this laptop had a GTX 560M card and 8 gigs of RAM, and the main dialog box or the warning that came up was it needed the recommendation was 11 gigabytes. So that was a little bit of a shocker for me. But I would encourage you to go ahead and try to install it and see if it will run. The problem is, though, I find is the well, there's another thing is the game is very slow on loading especially when it comes to hard drives. So you actually really should install it on a solid state drive, especially one that has an M.2 interface. I think a lot of the streamers you may see that run the game really well at high resolution, they actually have a dedicated solid state drive just for the game, and then a solid state drive for the operating system.
Okay.
But, otherwise, the loading times will be quite long. I mean, people have waited 30 minutes just to load the game up, with a rather regular hard drive.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
It's a very resource intensive game. It's definitely pushing the limits on even some of the latest hardware.
No, I mean that's cool. Like if that's the case, it'll be within the month I should be able to afford that kind of computer then. Because I was just figuring like if I can't start tonight, that's fine. Because I was planning on having that like the next couple weeks anyway. So, okay, cool. So
also
it's
be aware that with so we're currently in version 3.2 and 3.3. Like you've seen, I'm sure they're talking about in the videos you're talking about, but object container streaming and bind calling is hopefully coming into the game. It pretty much has to at this point in order to do some of the other stuff that they want to do. So with that's kind of like the first rounds of optimizations that they're going to be doing for the game. And if that happens, then a lot of lower powered gaming systems should be able to run it a little bit better.
awesome. So I could even just wait that out too.
Yeah, that should be the beginning of September if you want to wait. If you want to just go ahead and get a game package and download and just give it a shot and see what your computer does with it, by all means, it's your money, your computer, do what you want to do. But yeah, you can do that, or you can just, like I said, wait it out until September. But just remember that both of them, not necessarily bind calling. Bind calling's kind of been around in other games and stuff, but the object container streaming is kind of a new tech, so that's going to bring a bunch of bugs with it itself. So that's going to make. I personally have a feeling that it's going to make the game a little bit more buggier once that comes out until they iron everything out.
That's cool. It's not an issue.
Yes. Have you ever played the game franchise called Myst? It's like an adventure game.
Okay. Give me a second here, because okay. So I think, dude, I think it was like a kid when I touched that, because that was like a click style, right? Like a click puzzle type.
Click style adventure puzzle game. Yes, it was a very it basically really stimulated the mind because you pretty much have to think your way through a lot of places to get to the next level.
Yeah, I
And
played that for a while.
your experience with Star Citizen right now is pretty much like playing the game Myst. Everything is going to, you'll have to approach it like an engineer with deductive reasoning because there's going to be many bugs that will, because it's in an alpha state. So there's many bugs where you may find a situation where no one has an answer to, and you'll have to find your own workaround for that bug. Um, and you'll find that you'll be repeating things over and over just to get to a simple mission. So, like, just to do a simple mission as to take a ship to a planet, load up a rover, go to another location, that may take 5 hours to do because of all the crashes and all the all the glitches or falling through the physics of the ship. And there's just many different quirkiness things that happen in the game that can make an obstacle for you. So trying to find a workaround, it's like playing a puzzle game, except it's not a fun kind of puzzle.
That's just like our like.
It's not
work
that
modes.
bad. But we
Yeah.
have one guy that plays with us that he gets extremely frustrated with the smallest little thing.
Yes, so we've actually had someone that got quite almost psychotic.
That's the thing. Alpha, like testing phases are not. They're not for the faint of heart. Ever. They've never been. It's medieval stuff.
I've learned it, and people who get in too early, some of them are actually detracted from the game because of that experience, not realizing the vision.
I think part of it is the fact that people see the videos on YouTube and are like, "Oh my God, this game looks amazing," but you're catching all the good points at a perfect day when there was nothing, no glitches, and the server wasn't crashing, and you kind of get sucked into it. But when I first started playing at the end of 2.6, I got into it, and it was a week, and it was like, oh my God, was there a time about this? There was no crashing, there was little or no problems, and then that week was all ecstatic, and then the next week a new patch came in, and it was night and day, and it went from enjoying it to absolute rage fit, and once I got that through my system, I was fine. After that, you could take the blows, but it was, I guess what was I got spoiled because I caught it right at the end before the patch, and they had gotten most of the bugs worked out, so they had to push in a whole bunch of new ones.
So once you've joined and started playing, consider yourself part of the quality assurance team.
Awesome. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, and if you get in, look us up. Come on into Discord and stuff. Between all of us, we have, I would venture to say, almost every ship in the game.
There's one guy in our group that has probably, 2/3 of them. But
yeah. Nice.
And we can let you check them all out and do stuff with them.
Cool.
You have yes, in this group we have some very wealthy players. Of course, the one talking to you right now, the gentleman Sly Blackheart, is one of those people. He has a very large collection. And then of course the Viking is more our military brain. And then we have the other gentleman is Epicos. He's currently in another game right now. You'll see him you probably see his name in the other voice room.
Yeah, Empyrean. I used to play that quite a bit.
Yes, so that's a fun game. But also, I play that as well. But the thing with as far as him, he's see, in the game they have these different levels of investments. So the more you invest in their project, you get considered a certain category. So there are both Sly and Epicos, and I think Viking maybe are all part of the concierge class.
Yeah, I'm a concierge. I went to the dark side.
Actually, that's the light side, Viking. Well, welcome to the Ivory Tower.
Right on.
You're with a good group of people that has a large array of ships for you to fly and figure out which ones you like.
Cool. Yeah, oh my gosh, this seems like they have a lot of ideas for the game too. It kind of makes your head spin.
Oh yes, and they're getting more and more, and I know they call it what a horrible thing to say, feature creep. That's a terrible terminology. I would like to say that they're expanding their horizons because as their budget grows and they get more inspired to do more, the better the game's going to be. And I'd rather the game surpass our expectations and keep evolving. I really want to see, for the first time in game development, persistent development, ongoing development. So yes, you're coming into an most amazing. It's like Chris Roberts says, it's a living, breathing universe full of lore and intrigue.
I have never seen this before. So I'm inside Port Olisar in a lab environment, and looking out the window, I could see a cutlass up there that was blown in half, and it's just sitting up there in space on fire.
Oh yeah, you've never seen that before?
I don't,
Incredible.
I don't think I've seen it. Like I've seen it happen to my ship when I'm flying, and they blow a wing off and stuff, and it catches fire for a little while, and then it kind of blows out, and there's just smoke trailing on, usually like on an aurora or something. But this is the first time, like from Port Olisar, just looking up into space, and just for a random moment, you just see stuff up there burning.
Yes, Roboto. It's experiences like that makes it all the worthwhile to deal with all those bugs and other things. To be able to see something cinematic unfold in front of your eyes in real time, it's quite an amazing thing.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. It's fun. It's a good space game that how do I put it? I'm pretty sure. I don't know if you guys ever played it, but Star Wars Galaxies, like I think that's something that gets mentioned a lot. But it's a nice space game that is not Star Wars Galaxies that I would like to say is probably going to surpass what they managed to do.
Quantum drive activated. Quantum drive deactivated. Quantum drive activated. Quantum drive deactivated. Landing gear deployed. Landing gear raised. Landing gear deployed.
it already hasn't.
Right.
Like, this is kind of it's, how do I put it? This thing's at like bubbling point right now. It's bubbling. It's just kind of blah, 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 and it's like everything's kind of situating. But yeah, no, I can see it coming together. It's it's like what any other sci-fi game kind of wanted to be, really, in the end. It's hard to create culture. So I mean, whoever they've got creating concepts is someone who I think really understands what kind of creates, societies, like groups of people. It's really cool.
Yes, and everything in the game that they've created so far seems to really cater to an individual's ego, which is a very powerful thing.
Yeah.
If you create something that's cool or sexy or popular, it's definitely going to be a moneymaker. And especially the when you look at the outfit, it always makes us feel like every player is sort of that celebrity, that star, in the movie. Either the main hero or the main protagonist, the main antagonist or the main protagonist.
So are you guys protagonists or antagonists?
I'm a
Bit of both.
Cool. I like both too. I think neutrality is the best path.
Oh, me, I'm a protagonist. I'm completely on the protagonist.
So you fly with me. I don't know I don't know if I see something and I get good enough that I can tell someone's not new, and I see something worth taking, may or may not take. Because I expect it to be done to me too. It's kind of give and take, So.
That statement of what you just said is very telling.
Yeah, don't let Solara fool you. She will put a bullet in the back of someone's head.
Yeah.
No, I could tell.
Within the first 20 minutes of meeting somebody.
Keen, you had to go there, didn't
I didn't. Sly did.
you?
I hear you, and you play that sweet role sometimes, but you're cold-blooded sometimes. You can be cold-blooded.
No, I could tell, like, Solara's like, I'm nice, but like that, there's no weakness in it whatsoever.
Oh, you so sweet. That's well, well, it's not like you have much choice in the verse because this is a very dystopian universe,
Yeah.
so it requires for very ruthless measures in some instances. But it's you can consider it as to be tough love.
For sure.
Yes, that's the expression, tough.
Okay with that. What in the world? Is there a population count for this game, or is that all speculative?
So yes, and no.
2 million
There's a number of accounts that have been made, which is in like the 2 millions, but that's not active gamers. To be honest, active gamers in this thing is probably going to be 20,000, maybe 30,000.
Really?
If I had to guess, that's what I would say. It's, first of all, it requires a machine for most people that a lot of people can't really afford to get into to really enjoy. Second, it's an alpha, so there's a lot of people that can't deal with bugs and stuff like that. So I think at any given time there's probably 20,000 people that you can kind of depend on being around and in the game.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter because the servers are they're Amazon servers that can be spun up and dropped off as people come in. So even though there's that number of actual players, all day today, every time I've tried to join with one of these guys, it'll show you how many people are in their server, and it's always like 49 of 50 or or 50 out of 50.
47,
So those servers-
46.
So the servers are always stacked with people, but they're really kind of a hardcore lot.
It's awesome. I mean, yeah, this game doesn't look it doesn't look softcore, and I'm you know, I mean, like in between practices and stuff, I am looking for something to take my mind off of gigging and whatnot. So yeah, this is cool. It's something I can jump into.
Yes, and there are, certain little instances where there is tranquility and peace, which I've been trying to find, and I'm still trying to find as a long journey, a long and hard journey. But there are certain places in the game where you can find peace and tranquility. It's just it can be challenging.
It's the loading screen.
The one loading screen.
It's the hardest
Uh,
part of the game, huh?
Yeah.
The load times can be sometimes painful.
Like what's the worst?
Oh, I don't know. Like mine's on
I
a
think
NVMe drive, so I mean, my there's only one load screen at the very beginning of the game, and for me, it's about a minute and 15 seconds, minute 20 seconds.
And that's the key word he just said, NVMe. So when you get an SSD, you want something with the NVMe technology. Um, it will actually have that in the description of the item that you're purchasing, and
Okay.
you want to look for a board that has NVMe compliant interfaces for that drive. Now the thing is, you really ideally want two NVMe drives, and that's where that 40 lanes of PCI Express comes in. It's best to get a CPU with at least 40 lanes that takes advantage of all the lanes, because if you're going to use two NVMe drives, NVMe, if you use two of those drives, and then you're going to use GPU, a high-end GPU like a PCI Express fourth generation, like GTX 1080 Ti, for example, which a lot of the streamers use. um, then you would need that much lanes open. So you would have to get a CPU that actually utilizes all of those PCI Express lanes. So that's why when you're looking for the CPU and you're looking for that SSD and all the different components, those are the key words: 40 lanes, PCI Express, NVMe SSD, um, and then of course, I'm a pro NVIDIA person. I don't really care for AMD cards, so I go with NVIDIA, GTX 1080 Ti's. That's what I would go for.
Okay.
And right now, a good bargain, a good bang for the buck is the I would go with the 8700, the i7 87. I mean, I think it's what do you call it? 8700 CPU. That would be the best bang for the buck.
Okay.
Yeah, multi-core is going to be coming for this game. Multi-core enhancement. However, right now, it seems like the people that are running some of the newer Intel chips that aren't multi-core, that are like quad-core stuff like that, that does better running stuff on single-core. They're getting a little bit better frames. But I don't know how long that'll last. I personally have a Ryzen 7 chip, Ryzen 7 1700, and I get decent frames, but I'm expecting that when they start optimizing for multi-core, multi-thread, that it should get considerably better.
Okay.
Yes, and this game actually is more Intel and Nvidia friendly because Chris Roberts actually has personal dealings with Intel, actually, especially with their Intel Opteron drives, which is another drive you might want to consider. It is expensive, but it is optimized for Star Citizen. And you'll get a Saber Raven as a gift.
dogfights look awesome in this.
I forgot
pretty
how
cool.
awkward it is to land a Connie.
To do what in the Connie?
Land,
Oh.
because you got you're basically landing on your ass.
Yeah,
Well,
you gotta watch out
you
for that
have
nose.
you have to touch down very gently. It requires finesse.
Landing gear raised.
Where do you have the Connie at?
I'm canyon surfing in Daymar.
Oh, nice.
Hadn't flown a Connie in a while, so take out the Connie.
You have the Aquila?
No, I don't like the Aquila.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
I
Why
like
didn't
the.
you like the Aquila?
Oh, well, I don't. Me personally, I don't like. I'm not big on that roll. I'm not big on the exploration roll.
I don't mind the exploration. I just don't like the way they changed the cockpit.
Oh, I
The
love
round,
it.
the round glass and the white interior reflects too much light, and you get too much inner reflection back at the pilot from the things behind you in the cockpit.
Oh, I
I don't.
love that.
I don't need to read Robert Space Industry shield trying to fly. From the door behind me, it says RSI. I don't need screen.
I don't know about you, but I find that to be love. The Aquila is a beautiful craft, especially the blue. And I love the airy, light quality of the room. It reminds me of that. Oh, That's what I should show. Okay, there's a room where John Lennon and Yoko Ono perform the music Imagine. They go to a house where the interior is all white, and there's only a few windows open, but you can see it's very bright white and almost blindingly white and airy. That's a perfect example of what white on white would look like in the real world. I'm gonna get that video and paste post. By the way, I love that song. That's one of my favorite songs, Imagine by John.
Yeah, the lead singer from Tool did a cover of that, and he changed it from major to minor. It was really interesting.
Oh wow. Really? Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah, Maynard James Keenan is really cool. He's a really talented guy. I like all of his writing.
Oh, wow.
Hmm. That's very cool.
I'm flying the Andromeda, but the ship I actually own, not here yet.
Did you get the Taurus or did you get the Andromeda?
I got the Taurus.
Yeah, I think you're gonna like that. I think at the price
Origin jump wards at your service. Core system operational.
Wolf Cub. She is like, she pilots a ship like an asteroid tumbles through space.
Oh man.
Literally.
Yeah, she
I
is.
think I remember that event that you were talking about.
Yeah, when we were trying to follow her in Daymar.
Yeah. Yep.
And the only way I could get closer to her is by actually just staying still and really tumble around away from me and then tumble back and got closer. And I'm just watching the whole thing going, what is she doing? Because you were trying to teach her how to land, I think. And you did in a fiery, burning, charred mess, but it was a technique for landing. That's not the preferred technique.
Surprise.
Oh, we're talking about selections of ships and makes the selections and how.
Yes, I heard about the marble countertop.
Oh, okay, good. It wasn't wasted.
And how I like to text while playing.
Well, you got the
Surprise.
Phoenix too, didn't you?
I'm sorry, what was that?
You got the Phoenix too, right?
Oh, yes, I have the Phoenixes.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. That's gonna be nice.
Yes,
But see, I like it for the practical effects, not the design cues. I like it for running the VIP missions, for smuggling, for doing command and control. I like all that aspect.
Oh, I like it because it has a beautiful aquarium tank
See,
and
that's
How
what
do
I like about
fish?
this game. It attracts all types.
How do fish swim in 0G? That's what I.
They don't. They just flop. It's terrible. There's I can imagine like a fish trying to move in air. It'd probably be more confusing than being on the ground flopping. Can you imagine that?
well, at least we have artificial gravity on the Phoenix, so that won't be an issue. Yes, the Phoenix is going to be so exciting. In fact, I'm more excited for the Phoenix than this 600i actually. Because I love that. To me, the Connie is one of the most beautiful ships as far as externally. But just imagine a white one with a white and vanilla interior. Oh my goodness. But what I hope is, I hope they don't do the same thing that they did with the 600i, that they only calculate lighting for if the ship's in space. I would like them to also calculate lighting as if the ship was in an atmosphere environment.
Yeah, the only thing I'm concerned about for you is I don't think the
If
Phoenix
there's
is as white as the concept. is.
Yes, I worry about that too. I think about that from time to time. I actually lose sleep over that.
No, you don't. Are you kidding me about that? You're not losing sleep over some pixels, are you?
Oh, I take my pixels very seriously.
Oh, you're a pixel junkie. Uh-oh. Oh,
Yes,
man.
every photorealism is everything.
Hey, I mean, if it can't get you into it, I suppose, is it worth it? Is it?
See, the only reason actually from coming from an when you study lighting from an architectural standpoint, everything in gaming seems so flawed and rudimentary and quite inaccurate and almost phony. But the thing with the only thing that it really separates Star Citizen from the others is that they're willing to explore that level of detail eventually when the technology comes about. And that alone is just amazing that they're willing to do that. And the second thing is, even though they're not there yet, they already have implemented or manipulated the software in a way to really create an illusion that there's full global illumination with light probes and a good example is when you're landing on the planet, you notice how the ships sort of glow underneath as if the ground is shooting light up underneath the ship.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
That's a very that is an example of a little bit of global illumination. They're using very simple form, of course, because they still got to use the ambient occlusion to darken the corners, to give definition. But still, if they didn't have that effect, um, the magical feeling you get when entering the atmosphere of a planet, without that glow, it kind of really detracts from the feeling of it. The effects, and so lighting really has a big effect on our mood and how we feel. And I think that part of the magical aspect of entering an atmosphere of a planet is the glowing effect. The planet radiates this light that is actually bouncing the light off from its waters and its geographical forms onto the underbelly of the ship. And it's such a beautiful thing. And to see Star Citizen really think about that kind of detail is just impressive. But I'm a little bit upset that they skimped out on the derelicts. They went on they're going to implement procedural derelicts where derelicts are generated procedurally, but what they haven't done is generated procedural light maps for each wreck based on their environments. So when you go to like the javelin, you'll notice that it almost seems like parts of it is floating off the ground because they don't have the texturing right. If you ever looked at the Homestead demo that came out a couple years ago, that javelin was wreckage was amazing. It's because they actually uh, built it bespoke. They actually tailor designed the light maps just for that specific scene, and so the lighting seemed very correct. And if they did that with the Javelin Derelict in this patch, it would have looked just as epic looking as it did in that demo. So, so there are a couple of things that I've noticed. Maybe they're going to address that issue later, but looks like they've taken the easier road.
And
And
then
and I
there are
need to,
some people in this game that are really serious about the game.
I bet. I mean, I wish I could be. Like, I probably, when I'm old enough to retire, I will be, right? I'll be like, full dive till I die. But, like, I can't do that right now.
Like Solara kills me with her her level of knowledge of this stuff. It blows my mind. I'm over here drooling in a corner thinking about blowing stuff up.
Like, hey, just get my missile launcher, man. I'm tired. It's like,
Well, that's
I don't
another
know what to
challenge
do.
is getting your missiles to hit the target.
Oh,
That
I
is a
bet.
challenge.
I bet. But it's like, oh, come on. This looks,
They've been broken for a bit.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's okay.
they'll fix it. It
I
comes
mean,
and goes.
it's so freaking big. Like, this game is so big. Like, the fact that the development team is like as consistent as they are is pretty awesome.
Yes, it really is. And Sly is correct that the people that are the devs are so serious about this game. I think my enthusiasm as far as just the graphical aspect, the people that are involved with this game that are developing the graphics for it, that's why it's so beautiful the way it is. I mean, they've actually went to university, they've actually studied the lighting. There's actually science behind it. It's actually derived from the science of electromagnetism and the Maxwell equations. So they're really they're really applying very deep principles, scientific principles to making the lighting look the way it does in this game. And I'm just an enthusiast, but the people like Ollie is one of the developers. He's the one that actually mentioned about one day they're going to implement dynamic global illumination. And if you ever saw that demo, did you ever see that there was a demo that they released? It was a ray tracing demo showing a scene where there's stormtroopers entering an elevator.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That is the kind of technology that these developers at CIG are eventually going to be implementing.
Okay.
Even the cloud technology that they're working on for Crusader is just mind blowing. That there's a new kind of uh, voxel building or BVH tree structure that they're using for accelerated geometry and creating volumetrics within that acceleration structure that is going to make it so possible to have clouds to the level of almost to the level of what we can see in the real world. Um, and so that, for a typical game, I don't think most producers like EA or uh, what are those other ones, like some of the older ones, UBI, UBI and EA. I don't think they would take the time to allow developers to run wild with such technologies. They would like, oh, we got to get this game out and out soon.
I noticed they have a ton of wow. They have 26 fighter ships. It's just funny, but that's growing, isn't it? Like in terms of the count.
Oh, the ships are ever and infinitely gonna. I don't. I think pretty much they'll probably have thousands of different ships by the time they're over with.
Awesome. I like the fact it's just something for everything. It's cool.
They're trying to accommodate everyone, and I like it. I like the fact that they don't. Oh, everyone's not forced to start at the same level because really, a universe is full of different variables and of course there's probably aliens and sentient species of all different walks of life and so they're trying to recreate that and to have diversity where you have very wealthy players that have all these huge ships versus or large selections of fleets of ships versus other small time casual players that maybe have just one ship or a starter ship that really adds to the idea of diversity of the universe. I would like the universe to start out with such diversity.
Sly. Hey, Sly.
Quantum drive activated.
Must be acting. Or asleep. You guys can hear me, right?
Well, I hear you
Yes.
loud and clear.
Okay, just making sure.
Oh yeah, no problem. And I love this. I love the story that they implemented into it. Just like how like.
See, now, I hope at some point
Deactivated.
they will implement into the game things that you can do to your ship yourself. Not just like, okay, I can buy a new cooler and put this in here to keep my instrument, but stuff like actually change the ship. Like if you're a salvage guy and you're way, way, way out somewhere and you come across this derelict, and it happens to be some ancient alien wreck, and you find this tech and you find this, let's say, GPU and you plug it in, and all of a sudden it boots up your ship from being just the normal constellation Andromeda to all of a sudden a ship it's almost semi-sentient. That stuff would be cool if you could actually implement that, or you could find, Star Wars, the Millennium Falcon. Yeah, okay, it's a YT 1000 standard freighter, like a billion of them, but over the years that ship got customized greatly by everybody who touched it, from weapon systems to engines to the navigation system, which used to be a droid, which had if you haven't seen the Solo movie, go see it.
It's fine. I didn't remember that. I did watch it, but I didn't remember that.
And all these things that have made the Falcon what it was, and then you saw it, what it looked like when she came off the showroom floor, kind of sort, and then you saw how she became this not so polished, and some pieces are missing from the standard YT over her course of her year. Progressions where you could do that to the ships in game, where, hey, I'm going to take a Drake Cutlass, but I'm going to pull different engines on and make it be able to do this. So if somebody thinks, well, the maximum speed of the ship is 1115, all of a sudden I'm pulling 1226 and I'm pulling away from them. That's the stuff I'd like to be able to see in this game.
Definitely.
I don't think it'd be feasible for the fact that so many different variables would make it extremely hard for them to control game-wise.
Definitely.
But I would like to see that, and even just like small things, like not everybody wants to have every ship look like every other ship. My Cutlass looks like her Cutlass, and her Cutlass looks like his Cutlass. And, I would like to have mine this color, and you want to have yours this color with stripe, or this or that. And they're talking about being able to do that in the future. So there will be some personalization available. But like I said, I'd like to see where you could do a little more. Or even if you're some guy who does whatever, you're just a guy who wanders through space and you find stuff and you bolt it onto your ship to make what was normally a very run-of-the-mill normal planet hopper into almost a intergalactic traveling Toyota Yaris.
Oh, yeah.
That stuff would be cool, and I'm hoping that at some point they'll get to that.
I was seriously, the development of this game started out just space, and I mean, there's people running around shooting each other now, like entering ships. Like, that's insane.
Well, and you're looking at now, they're developing ships for this game where you'll have 75 different players working on that ship with you.
Oh my god, that is amazing.
And the writing mentioned is really, I really hope they do have that kind of feature. I think that would really add. Also, as each of these ships had a rework done, and instead of just eliminating the previous ships, I'd rather that they would keep the old ships in the game, so you could say, oh, this model is from a previous year, and so I have the Cutlass from, the year 2932 or something. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
so you have different models of like different ages of a same model, just like the Ford 1960 Ford versus the 1980.
That'd be cool. They'd be like the virtual Ford owners.
Imagine having a classic ship that is no longer in production, and you have a ship that's from just a ship that's now rare, oh, they don't make that model anymore. And so you have that classic ship. Another, as far as gameplay, what would be so neat is if they could find a way to um, implement where all of game franchise, let's say anyone that wants to use this Star Engine to create their games or modded universes, what we can do then is have a special implementation or game mechanic, like a quantum rifting game mechanic, where we enter a space anomaly and we can enter those other universes, and all of a sudden we'll venture into a Star Trek universe or a Farscape universe, or let's say maybe some modders created a Lex universe. We
Contact.
could begin to venture if we stumble upon those quantum rifts.
Well,
And
they're going to have quantum rifts. They're going to have, uh, and that'll actually be a possible job for people, is the guys who find these wormholes that have never been started. And that's why there's going to be the small exploration ships and the bigger exploration ships, because the bigger exploration ships aren't going to be able to fit through these tiny little wormholes. But you'll be able to sell this information you get and be another source of income. And then, of course, you always have to run the risk. They're saying that possibly that you might enter, if one of these wormholes you enter collapses while you're in it, that's goodbye. That's the character's end life at that point.
oh yes, and and the thing is, as that is so true. And and as time progresses, and you begin to blend the virtual world with the real world, somebody's attacking me. Oh
If I was there, I would totally murder them for you.
Patrol the area and make
With a
sure no one
complete
gets
smile on
a
my
jump
face.
on us.
my real shirt, my rear shields are gone.
You better run.
So I forgot to ask, because it's not something I've actually researched all that much. What are the consequences like in this game?
Right now, there's you can get a crime statistic pretty easy for some pretty minimal stuff, like landing in the wrong park spot.
Wow.
That wasn't assigned to you, but there's you can go to this place called SPK, which is Security Post Korea, and supposedly this was run by Crusader Securities, and it was their outpost. And it's a big security station, but something happened, and it's abandoned at the moment. So what you can do is you sneak in there, and it's also a free fire zone, so it turns into a combat zone between players at time.
Contact.
But you sneak in there and you hack the system, and you have your crime stat removed.
That's amazing.
Okay. And eventually, at some point, I'm sure there will be consequences.
Of course.
For certain things. If you have a crime stat and you're coming into Port Alisar and you have a high enough crime stat, the guns will open up on you and they will try to kill you.
Interesting. That obviously means then there's going to be a bounty hunting system for sure.
Well, there's bounty hunting ships.
That's amazing. Okay.
And
So,
the
do you guys know about anything that's coming out in terms of entertainer type stuff or characters that do like any kind of vocation along those lines?
Yeah, so you have right now they're building in render to texture, which is basically being able to have screens in the game that can stream to different things. Along with that, you have a version of Reliant, which is called the News Van, which is for recording in-game content. So there's going to
Forward
be
shield under attack.
an entertainment, whether you're
Shields at full
filming
strength.
races that are happening on planets,
That's awesome.
whether you're filming wars and stuff that are happening and transmitting that across the spectrum, whether you have like a YouTube type video show that gets broadcast to people on their ships as they're flying through quantum. All that
That's
stuff
so freaking amazing.
yeah, all that stuff is going to end up being in the game.
Is it?
So yeah, if you want to be a content creator within the game and that's what you want to do, you can do that.
Yeah, because I enjoy music
Yes.
and I like video games, so it's kind of like, well, why not mix the two, you know?
Oh yes, you
Um,
could create your own radio station in the game.
The other thing about consequences that you might want to look into, because this is kind of important for a lot of people that play games, is what happens to your character when you die. And what Chris Roberts and everybody at CIG always references is they did a video a long time ago called "Death of a Spaceman." So go look that one up, and that'll tell you what their thought process is as far as how they're going to handle you getting yourself into a situation where the outcome is not a living one. But definitely look that one up because that'll give you an idea where they're going.
That's a YouTube video?
I got YouTube up here. Let me see if it's
Oh yeah, here we go. Yep. Dying and permadeath. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. It's a 10-minute spiel. It's by Board Gamer, right?
So there's that one, but there's also the one that you probably want to reference straight from CIG is the one a couple down from that. There's one by Star Citizen. It's a calling all devs.
Okay.
Never mind. Hang on. That's too recent.
The cap ship navigation.
Yeah, give me a second. Let me find out. There's a lot more references in here than I thought there would be.
We got to think a mechanic like that is going to probably freak people the hell out.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there'll be some people that'll be borderline slashing their own wrists if their character died.
I mean, it happened with EverQuest. People killed themselves over that. They had clinics for World of Warcraft when it first released. Like within a year, they were forming addiction. What's
Yeah,
up?
if nothing else, check out the one by Board Gamer. I'm sure he'll cover it really good, but I'm sure there's also one by CIG somewhere.
There's a body twitching in the airlock.
Gross.
Oh yes, make sure to wear your helmet when you go in the airlocks, because they've actually simulated the vacuum of space, and certain spaceships that they designed, they've overlooked certain areas that need to be pressurized, so you could walk in an area of the spaceship that's not pressurized and actually suffocate.
Oh my god.
This is coming from Solara, who's famous for dying without her suit on in Empyrean.
Yeah, I don't like to have to wear such a cumbersome suit, and it seems like they. I mean, I'm walking around in the 600i, and I'm just. It's supposed to be designed to have atmosphere, and I get killed in the elevator shaft. I suffocate to death, and this is a 600i. What in the world is this? Their idea of luxury?
Yes, it's death by luxury.
Very fun.
Give me 1 second. I'm actually I'm gonna watch this video. It's calling all devs, cap ship navigation, and death of a spaceman, right?
Yeah, but it's new, so they're gonna touch on it, and it's probably not gonna be as in depth as you probably want that to be. It's probably gonna be like a 2 to 3 minute segment within that show. I'm trying to see if I can find a link to like the 10 for the Chairman episode. Let me see.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Do a little bit of legwork for you.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm checking their video list as well.
What's that?
I think they've polished out the 300 series interiors even more. It's even shinier than it was.
Ah, yes, the Origin series are definitely a sleek group of.
Permadeath. That's interesting. That I mean, it's kind of cool because in a way, it kind of reteaches you to deal with it. You know, like appreciating what you have while you got it.
Yeah, well, for a lot of us, we grew up with games where you get 3 lives. At the end of those 3 lives, everything that you've done is lost permanently, and you have
Yeah.
to start over from step one.
Yeah, like Super Nintendo and all that, and like Atari.
Yeah, like Pac-Man, Space Invaders. Yeah, old games.
For sure. Oh, also, was it Dungeon Crawler? Is that what it's called? Dungeon Crawler?
Asteroids.
Asteroids. Oh yeah, look at you.
I love that game.
Damn. Pong. Pong was just fucking brutal if you played against like the right evil person. It's freaky. One of the characters in uh, Star Citizen looks like Mark Hamill. Slightly.
Huh?
Yeah, it's what is this? Squadron 42. Oh, it's a video that they uploaded.
It is Mark Hamill.
That's literally Mark Hamill.
Oh my shit.
And Gary Oldman is in it as well.
Fucking Gary Oldman.
You pretty much have used real stars to voice over the cat.
Get
And
that wizard
John
out of
Reese,
here.
John Reese Davies, the guy that played Gimli, he's in it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
and Andy Serkis.
Oh yeah, Andy Serkis.
Oh. Yeah, how
What
can you? Yeah, I was gonna say, there's no way that I know it's weird, but when you got people like that backing the game, it's like they're probably all going, yeah, shit, we're playing this shit. Mark Hamill's probably got some freaking computer hooked up to like the Millennium Falcon in his garage.
Right.
Like, I own this shit. Has like a chair he plays that's like 5 feet off the ground. Dude, if I was that rich, I would have some stupid setup. People wouldn't even know I was playing games. They would think I was like worshipping some shit or just, I don't know, dude. Oh, man. That armor, though, that is. Damn. It's cool to see Mark Hamill in the. As a character who's not actually affected by age, which is why the virtual universe is cool. You can see what he'd look like if he like actually punched someone in the face, you know?
And unlike the current trend with some Star Wars movies, Mark Hamill is a fucking badass in this game.
Yeah, like why the hell is it that Yoda, 400 years old, decrepit old fart, no offense, but decrepit, like he makes you guys look like tadpoles, okay? And that dude does fucking backflips, right? Okay, so, like for me that puts my thinking cap on. I'm like, that's horse crap because you got Luke, don't get me wrong, who force projects to another planet, which is cool. But I mean, he could have shown up and like spanked Kylo in his ass a little bit, and then could have fucking died or something. Been like, oh, it's my. I don't know. They could have killed him off differently. I mean, okay, fine if he has to go.
That was the. I'm not
Jesus.
happy with what Disney did with the Star Wars movie, especially with Princess Leia. What a indignified way to end her life.
It took Avengers, dude. It took an Avengers route. I felt like I was watching an Avengers movie.
Wow, that's a great.
I just like things happen because they're supposed to, and no offense, but Luke Skywalker got his ass whooped by a little droid that fires stun lasers out. Like, and and Ray comes out and is, don't get me wrong, she lived a hard life, so I think that's kind of where her fight expertise came from. But it's like she fights like street fight, and then you've come into contact with like the Red Guard, and it was like you'd expect a more militant group to have beat the hell out of them, and then maybe Poe comes in and saves them. Yeah, no, I could see it for sure.
So I threw a link into Discord, and it's
Okay.
it's Death of a Spaceman. As I thought it was a video, but it's not. It's something written out by Chris Roberts.
Oh, that's cool. I like reading. It's so cool, dude. Yeah, I'm already reading this, and it'd be like you could have a character that did some badass stuff, and then your character dies, and nobody would know who you were, but they talk about that character, and you're like, yeah, that was me. Like you would know.
Right. Yep,
Freaking A.
that'd be cool.
Or they just talk shit about you. It's like, yeah, it's about time that asshole died. There's like some memorial out there. It's just completely defaced. It has like douche sprayed on it or something. Spray painted or something. Just,
Right.
yeah. Dude, they're making really good points about like just like every other sentence.
And I don't know how much like maybe you yourself are a content creator or 3D content creator, but Chris Roberts mentioned something else quite interesting that one day
What's that?
and the content for the game, and then it would go through and their art team to optimize it or decide on it whether to implement in the game, and so the community actually can have an input as to what content's going to be into the game, in the future. So they already have their art team doing that primarily for the preliminary stuff, but to expand the universe and new ideas, they're going to allow players to, let's say you create a ship that you would like in the game, and then you would submit that ship to the art team, and they would evaluate it, and then if they like it, they'll optimize it and enter it into the game. So he's also talked about that as well into the actual PU, the live.
I don't know. We saw how that last one went, though, right?
With the Redeemer.
Yeah.
How so?
Well, that was I know they were having some kind of contest, but I think he was wanting to. They're still at a very early stage in the game where they're developing the core technologies. But I think once they get to the point where they can just start introducing new content without worrying so much about the core, then yes, they might just have that feature. And I think with artificial intelligence evolving, that they can completely automate the system. So I see a time where people can use 3D Max and Blender and Maya to create all these characters and assets, and then just put it through the AI program, which will automatically optimize it for the engine, the Star Citizen engine. And then we can have constant new content being updated, and to fund the game, content people who want to upload their stuff into the game because they are taking up hard drive space or solid drives, solid state drive space. They're taking up real estate. To get their own content into the game, they would have to pay so much for how many bytes they use to upload whatever content, just like Second Life. But that would also keep the game going, funding their infrastructure. But at the same time, all the players have the ability to be content creators as well.
Yeah, and it could even potentially I mean, hell, there are people making a living off of Entropia Universe. I don't know if you guys heard about that game, but there are people making a living off of that.
Just like in Tropia, yes, we would have the same phenomena,
Yeah.
and just like Second Life. I think that'd be one of the reasons that Empyrean is so fun is because players can craft and build things, their own ships and bases. And I think to have that ability in Star Citizen would be just another amazing icing on the cake. Only this time we wouldn't be limited to blocks. We would have the ability to work with polygons, actual polygons.
Something else.
It's quite exciting. And for augmented reality technologies, I see this game possibly going to a level where I imagine, like, imagine going through your entire day with this game pretty much replacing your real world environments. So instead of, like, let's say you worked at a fast food joint, you'd actually be entering the 600i instead, and it will look like you're entering the 600i. Oh, you order you make food and you eat food in your galley area of your ship, that actually whatever order you put in the computer is actually connected with the real internet, where you can actually place a delivery order of a real food, and it will come to your door and be delivered, and you can actually have real food. So when you go to lunch in the game, you actually go to lunch in the real world.
That would be intense. It'd be very intense, actually. See,
Yeah,
they're doing
some
they're doing a lot with like musical stuff. I've noticed, right? Like, how do I put it? Like with motion controllers in general. Like you can make like the aim controller for the PlayStation VR make it look like a gun, and you can imitate sticks, or like fists. You hold on to things like batons, like the move controllers or the nunchuck for the Wii, and you've got these different things that kind of mimic your everyday things. But I'd really like to see something that allows you to do VR as it's a bias, but VR as a musician. Like they've got a game right now it's like Stick Beats or something like that for PlayStation. So they're trying to add a cooperative mode where you and a friend can play like these cool virtual rhythm style games together. I thought that was really cool because if you can implement that into like a game like here, you could have like you could have people performing live music in a virtual setting. Insane. That'd be kind of cool because then, for musicians, it would be easier in a sense to kind of like develop those cool skills because then you're essentially eliminating, travel time expense, and you open up, like more time for like skill creation and like you said, content creation. So like people who do graphic design, right? This is, I mean, hell, you could pay someone to design your ship, like the outside and everything, or paint it, or pay some like guy who does pinstriping on cars to pinstripe your virtual ship or something.
I was on Spectrum general chat one day, and Sean Tracy popped in, and one of the guys just kind of out of the blue just threw a suggestion at Sean Tracy, said that with the face over internet protocol and stuff being in games,
Yeah.
that he thought it would be a good idea to have like in the bars to have like karaoke. And Sean Tracy said, if there is a way for me to get that in the game, that will be in the game.
Oh my god. Oh
So
my god.
there's a possibility you might have karaoke in
Amazing.
some of these bars.
Oh
Oh
my
yeah.
god. Dude, you could have fucking drunk people from all over the world getting together and just, oh my god, that could get fun.
Oh yes,
Dude.
we can have karaoke parties in the back of the 600i.
You could literally sing karaoke with Japanese people, like the people who created karaoke. Like that would be the shit.
You can blow the bad singers out the airlock.
Right? Like everyone's like, hello.
Ah, Viking,
You
you have
live
such
or
a
we kill
wild
you.
imagination, don't you?
It's terrible. There's like a pit. It's not like a rancor, but there's something down there that just murders people. Like they keep they keep noob players down there who troll. And they're like, yeah, you can kill him if he goes down there, and they like throw bad singers down.
Cat nuts.
Yeah, cat nuts for sure.
Oh man.
That is funny.
Well, it should be fun. It means I don't have to get as attached to my character, which is actually kind of nice. I'm okay with that. Look like the ugliest character in the game and have like the most success, and I wouldn't lose a minute of sleep. So as it stands right now, you can it's only humans, right? You can only inhabit the universe as a human.
Yes, that's
For,
correct.
at the moment, yes.
Cool.
And right now it's only males. I think we're waiting for a December patch to come out with female characters.
Cool. That's probably why people are like, it's like, oh, stop. It's coming.
Yeah, well, it's just they decided that instead of just taking a male model and scaling it down like all the other games have ever done, they're actually going to structurally, skeletally create a female character so that motion and all that stuff happens just like female characters walking and talking and all the stuff that they do.
I'm so happy for that.
That's cool. I mean, they're taking
You,
those.
you, you don't want the females to walk around like linebackers and Empyrean?
Dude, they just walk around. They walk up. They're like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" You're like, "You walk like you're gonna murder me." It's like I walk like that.
I'm just so glad they're taking that kind of detail, especially. I can't wait to see my female avatar in the game. I'm gonna have her definitely, you know, represent me in the most accurate way possible. I
They should
like
have.
Empyreon's selection of hairdos, but I do admit the way she walks is a little awkward.
She walks like a wrestler.
Yes.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I'm so glad they upgraded the weapons on the 315. It's actually a decent fighting ship now. And get rid of those stupid Class 1 missiles. Those were worthless.
Viking and his weapons.
Hey, you know.
Well, it's a good thing you're on our side. So
Actually, what I need to do is I need to spend some arena bone up dogfighting skills. I'm pretty good, but I know there's people that are way better than I am.
Yeah, that's why I'll just hire those aces high guys and just save the stress.
Oh, I don't stress about it. That's the thing. Is you can't.
Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself.
Sly, when I see Heyoka again, I'll try to connect both of you.
Stress will kill your flow. It'll kill your creativity. It might disable you from doing something very creative mid combat that might save your life. You never know, man. You just have to just take it.
I always get
Just pull the trigger. And if you
when it
die, well,
comes
that's
to contact, it's the worst.
just remember that it's not really you getting blasted into space particles. That takes the edge off me. Like I know I'm not actually dying, so I'm just like,
I've had enough. I've had plenty of near-death experiences.
I mean, you were in the service for quite some time.
I get fucking 56.
I can't imagine what that's like, and I don't intend to find out.
Yeah, I don't blame people for going, and I don't blame people for not going. Kind of at that point.
No, I'm not. I don't. Some parts of me think that everybody should do 2 years in the military when they hit 18, just for them to be able to go up a little bit and find out who they are.
But then you
Um,
remember some of the chuckleheads that you had to work with, and you're like,
oh
"Thank
yeah,
God, we're not letting
You're like,
just
oh
everybody
shit.
in here."
yeah. It's just like my oldest daughter's like, well, Dad, if I could, I'd go in the military. I says, but I can't. I'm a diabetic. And I'm like, and I'm glad.
Yeah.
And she's like, why? He says, it's the military.
It's not made for everyone.
It's not made for everyone, and two, it's a male-dominated society. I know they're trying to equalize it, but there's still cliques. There's still stereo.
Yeah, it's like anything else, right? You try to democratize it, but it still maintains its nature. Yeah, I mean, and we're talking fucking millennia of warfare. I swear to God, it's genetic, dude.
Oh,
'Cause there are
it's in
parts of
nature.
me. Huh?
Human nature to fight over stupid stuff, and people try to point, oh, Americans are racist. No, we're not. We're no more racist than any other race or religion
I
in
know.
the world, because if you name it, I've seen the atrocities done in Kosovo, in Iraq, in Georgia. You name it, I've seen it. I've seen the massacre.
Did you go to Jordan?
Yeah.
That's one place I wanted to go. That and Dubai. Never got to go
Dubai. Israel, I love, though.
Why do you say that about Dubai? I noticed you made an expression with Dubai.
Actually, I'm not a fan of any Middle Eastern country. Except for I did like the Egyptian coastline. It was and I loved diving in the sea. But
Dubai is supposed to be glamorous with all these tall crystal skyscrapers.
yeah. Go tell you what. If you want to burn up in one of those, knock yourself out.
I mean,
And
it's the same thing as
every
saying,
car traveling down the road is either a luxury or sports.
you've
Yeah,
read The Grapes of Wrath, right?
and when you get hit by the kid who just got a Ferrari, and he's 16 years old, and he kills your entire family doing 200 miles an hour down Dubai, that's fine.
Dude, there were a bunch of those on the side of the road in Kuwait.
Yeah.
Fucking Ferraris, go figure. That's like the generic fuckboy car for the Middle East, dude. That's what Middle Eastern fuckboys drive. And over here, it's like fucking what, Dodge Chargers and lifted trucks. Jesus Christ. Lifted fucking trucks. I hate lifted trucks. And it's not because I think people have little penises. I mean, I could have a sports car and have a tiny penis. Whatever, right? I just think like when you drive a vehicle that keeps me from fucking seeing traffic, that pisses me off just a little bit. Just like, can you not? You are driving a boat made for land. Can you not pull over the white line? That's my only quarrel with trucks. Other than that, yeah.
Sadly, we need lifted trucks in Hawaii because the roads are so bad. And but for me, at least they have a variant of that, a more luxurious variant, which is called the Cadillac SRX. So that is a
No, that's called the Humvee. Not the ones that they've made lately. The one that Hummer actually made for the military. That's the only good.
military grade Humvee.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you ever seen the Governor's fucking Humvee?
Yeah.
That thing's amazing. I got to see that in San Francisco when it was on showcase, and I was like, "Oh my Hitler!" That freaking Humvee would.
Nah, the Mercedes G6. That is a bad truck.
Never seen that before. Mercedes G6, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Is the one with 6 wheels?
Mm-hmm.
The hell?
I still prefer. I still prefer a more luxurious. That really makes you feel rustic and out there in the safari or whatever. I I don't know if I want to be that rustic. I think I mean it is priced up on the same level as
Eh,
really expensive luxury cars and sports cars, but still
The
or
G6.
supercars I should say,
There's
more
like
like
12 of them in the world
supercars.
right
Yeah, and it's almost $1 million.
now. Yeah.
The thing is, I still think the Cadillac is way more stylish.
Give me an up armored Humvee.
Escalade would be the most SUV-ish I would go. But the as far as, oh my goodness, what a that might as well be in the military. That is more of a military vehicle than
That's why it speaks to me.
It speaks to him. You don't even know, dude.
tons of tires.
His panties get all like juiced up when he sees that thing. He's like, oh,
I have an armored car in my backyard.
that's hot.
I do.
Is that a pickup
19
line? Use that
No,
on
I
anyone
have
you meet on the internet?
a 1944 M20 armored reconnaissance.
Nice, man. So how does something like that fall into your lap? I mean, you have a long standing with it, so obviously, you knew someone, right?
No, actually, I stumbled.
No shit. Just stumbled across. Just where was it, in a junkyard or?
It was behind a house in a barn that was foreclosed on,
Go
and
figure.
it had been sitting there for 40 years.
Huh. Right for the picking, huh?
hmm
Did you get it running?
I've got it. The
You should wire that.
frame up restoration.
You should wire that thing up, and every time you get in an Ursa rover, you should go out there and have your monitors out there and drive.
That'd be too funny. It's very similar inside it to like an Ursa rover.
That is hilarious. That's a great idea, Sly.
No, it's not. It's too crazy.
Creative. I like. I know a lot of people do that with those flight simulator games. They actually have pieces of actual aircrafts that they, retrofit with computer screens and everything to give that simulation of.
Well, I'm gonna have to call it a night.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm getting closer to. I've been practicing for about 6 hours, including the time I've been talking with you guys.
So, you guys have a good night. I'll talk to you today.
Yeah,
Yes, you
y'all have a good night.
Later on today.
Mhm.
Have a good night.
Yeah, there y'all have a good one.
Sally, do you stay on Solara?
Oh, it varies. And a lot of times the stream will go on running without me because I either doze off or or the power goes out and everything shuts down except the YouTube stream, and the YouTube will show the infinite circle spinning. or I yes, I never really have a set schedule, and it probably drives some of the my stream viewers crazy because I stream at all odd hours. Sometimes I'll be standing in one place for hours, but I really stream mainly to um just to archive my experiences in Star Citizen, just in case there's any bugs I need to report or anything unusual happens. But of course, the byproduct is I ended up with a lot of interested viewers, which is interesting. Of course, I um I find that streaming in itself is a sort of a challenge because uh you know you really have to engage with the audience if you want to be successful at it. Otherwise, it's not going to do very well. And I've been streaming for a while, and of course I only have 60 something subscribers, but it's amazing. I got those subscribers at no effort whatsoever. I just stream and do my own thing. I could care less what anyone says or does, and or how I act in the stream. I can just stare at one wall all day long, so it doesn't bother me. But I find that um yes, I still end up with subscribers. It's interesting.
Hmm.
I was wondering if I really went full blast with it and and did all the things like Board Gamer or any other of those streamers, and took it more seriously how far it would go. But that's basically. I'm probably gonna stay on until I get the. Actually, what I do now is I'm gonna probably stay on for as long as I can, as long as the servers are running. Not myself physically, but I'm just gonna log into the game and leave it logged in because in its alpha state, the recovery doesn't work 100%, nor does the bed spawning. And you're gonna find that most of the times you have to spawn at Alasar, go down to the terminal, retrieve your ship, then go out to your ship because every time the game pretty much resets you to either one of the three bases. Um, and they're trying to get bed spawning to work where you can log off in the ship and log back on in the same ship, wherever the ship is, or if the game crashes and you can recover the same area that you were. But that's not consistent. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Hmm.
So what I do as a solution, and that's something you're going to find out. Most games out there, pretty much you can guarantee you're going to log back in the same place that you left off of if it's a persistent universe. But in this game, for some reason, it's a challenge for them to get that. Most of the time, if the game crashes or you log out, you end up back at Alasar where you have to. Actually, it's even worse. You can't just retrieve your ship. You have to reclaim it with the insurance because now it's either unknown or destroyed because it's left floating someplace in space and you don't know where it is. So when you do the insurance claim, you have to you either have to wait a long time before you can get the ship back, or you have to pay a fee to expedite it, and you still have to wait, but it's a shorter time. So that becomes very tedious if you're always crashing, or if you've. This is the part where when they talk about getting frustrated in a game, this is the part where you may start to get frustrated. So let's say you've spent 1 hour trying to get your shipment and you've managed to load it onto your ship and you take off, then the game crashes and you've just lost all your cargo and money because what happens is the game doesn't recover you to your last session. When you log back in, it starts you back at Olisar, but this time you have to reclaim your lost ship and you'll never get the cargo back or the money. So you've lost the money, you've lost the time and energy, and it had nothing to do with your own had no fault of your own, just the game crashing and you've lost.
Hmm.
So what I do, because I don't want to have to start off at Olisar all the time, I'll fly my ship to a certain area, and I actually have a special third-party program that I run in the background that has an auto key presser where it presses any keys I want or activates the mouse cursor, moves the mouse around. Um, and it can do that when I'm away from the computer. And as long as it's pressing buttons or mouse moving around, the game doesn't auto log me off. That's another thing I find irritating with the game is uh, if you're inactive, like for 10 minutes or more, they log you out automatically for inactivity. And then you have to start back at Olisar again. So I've found a workaround where I run this software that presses random keys throughout the entire night, so that way when I wake up in the morning, the game is still logged in. Hmm. Yeah, so there's just little bitty things that don't really bother people when they are first looking at the game, but once they start playing, those little things could be a little bit frustrating, especially when you've wasted time and energy and money. So,
Well, it does make the game better. I mean, it's stress testing really does benefit, and that's the thing. People who come into games that are polished, they don't know how good they get it, but I mean, you're a veteran of the game at that point. Like you understand the game more intimately than anyone. It's kind of fun in that way.
And it's funny when we do have problems that seem so trivial compared to what we had to deal with, and the new people are dealing with those you know, less problematic situations, and they're getting even more stressed than we were. That is very amusing to watch. But yeah, I think about right now I'm gonna probably be signing off too. I'm gonna probably leave the game running. We'll see. Right now I'm still waiting for my ship to reclaim.
Uh oh.
Um, but if you are able to make it online, let us know, and we'll definitely invite you to go with us on some of our runs that we do. And yes, we look forward to seeing you in the verse.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. I'll see you guys too. I'll be working on getting there for sure.
All right, dear. You have a wonderful evening, and it's so nice to meet you.
Hey, you as well. Have a good one.
Take care.